Assalamu alaikum. We are continuing on what we started in presentation 20 on the stitches that are used to repair a lumen of a hollow viscus like the pharynx or the stomach. This presentation will cover mainly the Cushing's suture pattern. The Cushing and the Connell sutures are almost identical, except that the Cushing suture pattern avoids penetration into the mucosal layer of the hollow viscus while repairing the lumen. It again forms of three elements: an anchoring stitch at the beginning and a final stitch at the end, and a repeated pattern in between. And the Cushing suture pattern is basically a horizontal mattress type of a pattern, in contrast to the Lembert, which was a vertical mattress orientation. The Cushing is basically a horizontal mattress orientation. You start here at one level below the apex, and then take a bite to go up to the apex of the wound, cross the wound to the other side, and then return back into the second level again and tie the first knot in here. So the anchoring knot starts below the apex but crosses beyond the apex, so that you have a suture loop on top of the apex to start the inversion of the wound edges from the very beginning. And once you tie the first knot in here, you again form a loop of a suture running perpendicular to the wound that's going to continue inverting the wound edge, and then you continue the pattern until the very end, where again you reverse the needle to end up with a horizontal mattress suture at the very end with a loop beyond the apex to continue and maintain the inversion. Both the Cushing and the Connell differs only in that the Cushing avoids penetration of the deeper mucosal layer, while the Connell may actually go through the mucosal layer while repairing the lumen wall. The Cushing starts with an anchoring suture. This is basically a reversed horizontal mattress suture. You start a level below the apex and then go beyond the apex of the wound, return back to the second level and tie across the wound here. You've got a suture above the wound apex running perpendicular to the wound edge, and now a second loop again running perpendicular to the wound edge, and this is going to maintain the inversion of the wound edges. And then you cut the shorter of the two segments and you start the pattern in the usual way, like a reversed horizontal mattress pattern. The bites are parallel to the wound edge, while the loop of the suture material is running perpendicular to the wound edge. And the pattern continues, taking parallel bites to the wound edge from one level to the next, and then crossing to the other side, leaving about a loop of the suture material perpendicular to the wound edge to maintain the inversion. And of course you progress here quickly between one level and the other, compared to the Lembert pattern, in which you have 4 punctures at every level. You only have 2 punctures here, one on each side, so you progress a bit quicker using the Cushing's continuous pattern. Now once you reach the end of the defect, you reverse the needle direction to go up the wound again, with the same pattern of bites parallel to the wound edge, and then cross to the other side, and you've left a loop here at the wound apex, and now a small bite on the other side, again parallel to the wound edge, and now you have a loop on one side and a suture strand on the other, and you can close up this suture line with an Aberdeen or the traditional way of a loop and a strand type of suture. While the Cushing pattern is repetitive units of horizontal mattress suture, and the Lembert is repetitive units of the vertical mattress suture patterns, the Parker-Kerr is a combination of the two. You start with the Cushing, sewing over a clamp, and then tightening the suture line while withdrawing your clamp to form the first line of repair, and the second line of repair on top of that will be a Lembert. That's basically the Parker-Kerr suture pattern. A slight modification in the Cushing suturing pattern produced the Utrecht inverting suture. You again start with an anchoring stitch at the top of the wound, but rather than having it in the configuration of a rectangle, you have it in the configuration of a trapezius. So again, you start below the apex of the wound, nearer to the wound edge, and then go diagonally away from the wound edge rather than just parallel, and do the same on the other side. Start from far to near, and now you have produced two loops of sutures, one of them above the apex, which is the longer of the two, and the second is a smaller loop below the apex. Tie the knot and cut the shorter of the two strands, and then continue doing the same repetitive blocks that are far to near rather than parallel to the wound edge. Again, from far to near. And this configuration spreads the tension in a better way in case you are expecting the wound to be subjected to tension during healing. But then it runs in the same way like the Cushing pattern afterwards, and you can end up again either using the Aberdeen knot or tying a loop on one side and a single strand on the other. We've been through the Cushing suture pattern, which is commonly used to repair the lumen of a hollow viscus. We also touched on the Connell suture pattern and the Utricht suture pattern. Assalamu alaikum.